Yo, what up, gamers? It's your boy, Bimbino, Bimdolph, Jim Dolph, Jimmy, Jim, Slim Jim, Bim, whatever you feel like calling me today. I really don't know. Today is, Saturday, and it's like 8 p.m. About to go finish my cardio for the day. It's been a minute since I've been trying to record things off and on, but it's just been like, whatever. And just the past month has been just been quite a bit. Just like thinking about like all this other stuff that I've dealt with and like recently, just like anybody else. But over the past month, I was originally supposed to take my MCAT like September 13th, but I took a practice exam and then I ended up I got this. I only got a few points higher than what I got on my like actual MCAT. And normally, people will say because for the MCAT it's a bit different because things, the way they grade it, it's like completely different as compared to like if you're taking another standardized test. Because I'll hear people say like, oh, I studied at the practice exams, but I got something like way worse, but I ended up taking the real exam. I did amazing. The thing is like the MCAT's a bit different as compared to that. The MCAT has like it's a weird thing. So like I can't remember some crazy stat, like 15% of the questions or something like that are like they're experimental questions, and like people are gonna opt out and get them wrong most likely. And I could see why they have those in, just to prevent people to cheat, I guess, putting in like some sort of knowledge. And so like the MCAT's like, I guess you could say like the best way you could say what it is. It's like it's based on like like a curve, right? It's like the lowest score is like 470 maybe. I think that's how it goes. That's how low it goes. 470, then all the way to like 528. But it's all based on like cumulative, how well you do and all that stuff. But I got the same score. So I was like, I'm not gonna take the MCAT. I'm gonna take the week off, take these next few weeks, not study. And I realized it was more of like content gap, and honestly, like I wasn't trying my best. I wasn't like fulfilling what I need to do, because I think I tend to overanalyze and hyperanalyze a lot of things that I do. So, or like obsessively like just make it worse than what it is, right? I overcomplicate things. I tend to, I don't know why that went off, but like other things, so that that I recognize that. And I talked to the doctor that I worked for, and he was saying like there's no reason for you to take it if you're gonna get almost the same score as last time. And I talked to a few other people, and I agree with that. And I keep making up these excuses and stuff, not doing that, because that's my own fault, right? It was a combination of just all this stuff that's been going on, and I was absolutely mentally drained. It's hard to recognize, what steps I need to take forward to do well. And I know restarting it and doing it properly is one of the first steps. Because that's what I did. I remember one of the biggest things, I remember back then, now, just more example, because right now, to get to where I'm at, I had to sacrifice so much, right? But one of the big things was I remember when I was taking my first science classes, I did super poorly, right? I didn't know how to study. I didn't know how to do anything correctly. I didn't know how to accept that I'm gonna fuck up. And it's pretty interesting because when you get into that mindset where you think you know everything, but you don't. Nobody knows everything. Some people will say that oh, I already know everything. No, you don't. Shut up. But and just thinking of this stuff, I've gone through all this shit, and I'm at this point where I'm right there. I'm so close, and it's just whatever, right? So I specifically remember taking I took anatomy and physiology after my first year of school, right? Or first year of whatever. And I remember being at the community college, and everybody would I remember this one dude that it was some person that I worked with, and they just were surprised that I got an A on the exam at the end of my biology, something like that. And then think it was a B or an A, and he was like, what the fuck? So you got a B or an A? And I was like, yeah. I was like, he's like, oh, whatever. But anyways, I ended up taking anatomy and physiology my second year, or second whatever semester of like wherever I was at. This was like when I was like, I think I was like 21, maybe 22. I don't remember how old I was. But I just remember that first anatomy and physiology class, like there was like 30 people in my class, and then like I just specifically remember the first time I took the exam, because I didn't know how to study, right? Like I didn't realize what kind of work needs to go into it, and like for some reason, like, you know, I didn't do that well. Like, right, I got like I think I failed the first exam or something like that. So I was like, all right. And the other thing that happened after that, a bunch of people dropped out of that class, and like, you know, skip forward, I was getting C's on these exams, and like, you know, then I got a C, right? I got a C in that class. Like I barely passed the class. I got like a 71. But I just remember how hard I had to work for that shit. And it was terrible because I didn't know how to study. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't try to understand the material. Just like, you know, brute force that shit, I guess. But I specifically remember at the end of that like semester, I think there was only 4 people left in my class. And out of the 30 people that first started, there was only 4 left, which is pretty crazy. But then I specifically remember taking it the second year. And my second year class, like I didn't do well. Like I had some like family issues happen. Like I specifically remember like my grandmother passed away, and like I was gone for a week, and like I was asking the teacher, because I barely had a C in the class still, and like I was asking the teacher, I was like, hey, can you send me the notes? My grandma died. Like I'm not gonna be there for a week. She's like, well, ask one of your classmates. And I asked him, but like he didn't send me it. But you know, it's not his fault because he's not the teacher. And the teacher didn't even send me the fucking notes. And I was just like, you know, that it is what it is, right? And I didn't, you know, I ended up taking the exam and I ended up failing it because I didn't have the notes. And so I ended up failing that class. And, you know, I was just like, shit, I don't know what I want to do with my life anymore, because I was going to try to become an x-ray tech, right? The x-ray tech rack didn't really work out. I mean, clearly I'm not doing that now, but I'm just thinking like, you know, then I was just like, you know, fuck it, bro, we ball. I'm just going to take the semester off, which I did. I took the whole semester off, kind of like recuperated, just understand like where I needed to be and like what are the next steps for this thing. And, you know, I ended up retaking it again. Then I ended up getting like a 98 in my class, and it was like one of the highest scores in the class, which I was like super proud of, but that was the only class I was taking at the time. So I was like, I was working and doing that. And, you know, I was just thinking, I was like, shit, like, you know, like, give me, like, confidence to, like, you know, like, I really can do this. And then I was like, you know what, I'm going to do full-time next year. Turns out I didn't do that well. I got freaking, like, just manhandled by those classes. But, like, the other thing was just, like, I was living in Casa Grande. And so Casa Grande from Scottsdale, it's a long drive. It's like an hour. So I was driving an hour there and, like, an hour back. So it was a 2-hour commute every day. And, you know, I spend the day there and, like, take all my full-time classes while I was working. And, you know, I wasn't, like, I was, like, messing up constantly, like, on those classes. And it was so hard. Like, I just remember, like, whatever. But I ended up passing those classes. Like, I don't know how I passed those classes still. Because, like, that was hard. Like, I was commuting, like, 2 hours a day just to go to school. And there we go. I did it. But then I remember the second semester, I ended up, you know, I had a chemistry teacher. He was pretty difficult. That was like, honestly, out of every single class I have taken, his class was the hardest class I have taken. Like, I've taken like medical microbiology, and I'm currently in like, I'm like working in neurosurgery. Like, this class was fucking harder than all that shit. Like, I don't know why he made the class so difficult for a community college class, but he did. But that's just the way he taught. But, like, he'd give us these big packets, and he would try to learn during the thing, and it's just, like, I don't know. But I ended up finding out, like, you know, like, I was just like, yeah, I'm not doing that well in these classes, and, you know, like, I ended up passing them again. But whatever. Then, you know, COVID came around, and I think that was, you know, whatever. And then I ended up taking, like, I took an acting class, so just to, like, kind of get out of, like, my anxiety shit, you know, and I did that. That was very interesting. Fun class, honestly. Met some interesting people, but, you know, kind of said COVID happened, and, we stopped. And like, you can't really do that. I ended up like sleeping through like my final, and the teacher was really cool with me because she understood like I was taking like science classes and I was like working, and like she understood like out of everybody in my class I had like the hardest classes. So she was like, like, I get it, and like, this isn't your goal, but like, she's like, you're the only one that's not like working and doing whatever and that kind of thing. But then I ended up like transferring to like NAU, and then I was just like, first semester I'm gonna go hard in the paint, have an idea what I'm gonna do. I ended up getting A's in all my classes, and the other thing that was nice was like the classes were recorded, and I figured out like I can watch videos. I'd rather watch the videos because like I get distracted very easily. Like I pay attention to way too much of what's going around whenever I'm like in a classroom. Like classrooms are very distracting for me. But if I'm able to sit down, go to the library in like a good spot where it's like quiet and I could fully focus on that, then it's easy. But because like I don't know, maybe I have ADHD, but I know I have issues with like getting distracted very easily. So I tend to do that, right? So yeah. I took those classes, did well, and and then like I think the second semester I got all A's again. But then like the following year I got like a B, and but I barely got A's that time. But I had like so much shit going on. Like I was dealing with somebody, dating like not so good of a person, and like that kind of like that really distracted me because like I didn't really understand at the time, like the OCD shit was like fully like on that stuff, and not like wanting to like go a different way, like the way that I want to go. So in the second semester that happened again, and I was dealing with all that stuff. But other than that, like I just remember like just from back then I just went through all that stuff, and like now I'm at like like I've done a lot of amazing things so far, and I'm like at this last hump, and and I just think it's crazy, like, reflecting on that stuff from, like, my journey to then. Because, like, I remember, like, I can't even count how many times I, like, applied to become a medical scribe or, like, any type of medical things. And, like, I was, like, denied, like, 50 times, right? And, then, oh, my shoulder's hurting. But, yeah, see, it's torn. That's why I'm doing this. But it's, like, and I'm just thinking about it, like, holy shit, like, all this stuff. And I got my EMT, right? And and like if I didn't mess up all those times, I wouldn't be here today, because like I was so scared to like just go out, do things, and like I'm still having that issues, right? I'm still having my own issues constantly, and I'm at this point, and like it sucks because like I've realized like it's kind of lonely, and I mean like success takes that kind of dedication, and it sucks, and it really sucks. It does, and it takes a halt on you, right? And I'm just thinking about like, man, like all the shit I've gone through, like especially the last like 2 years, like I don't know, I'm still moving. I'm moving forward, and like the job that I have and all that stuff, I'm like super lucky to have. Like it's crazy. Like still like it blows my mind that I'm doing this kind of stuff, and this person's a fucking piece of shit, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, no, it's been a crazy time, and I still can't believe that like I'm still moving forward with this. Like the things that I've seen, I'm super lucky, I'm volunteering and I'm doing all these things now, and like some days, like right now, like when I'm talking to the camera and I'm talking all these cool things and like reflecting on this stuff, like that's cool. Like, and I get out of my mindset's like, yeah, but like there's so many good things that are happening to me right now, and sometimes you do get lost in that kind of stuff, and it does heavily affect you at one point, and it can like it can get to you some days, and today's one of those days where it's like kind of like that. And like, what can I say, like and like overall my goal is to get like in a really good like medical school. Like I want to go to like Stanford or like Harvard, and like that's why I want to go. That's why I'm trying to do really well on this exam, because I know I can, and I know that I'm like intelligent enough now to do it, because like I've worked so hard to become this intelligent, and become more smarter. That's not Harvard level, but it is. But I think now that like I'm trying to be more open to like I can't know everything, and that's such a hard thing to accept. Uncertainty, like biggest thing, whatever. But anyways, just kind of wanted to like talk about like, you know, you're gonna mess up, accept that you can't know everything, and you know you'll get to a better point. And like even though if you're still feeling down, still having like mental issues like me currently, like it's good to talking to like a camera or talking to something or kind of just reflect on it. Like, damn, like you're doing amazing. You've done all these crazy things, and there's still more to come. All right, okay, that's it. I'm gonna do cardio.